from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Me, Fantamai. Prima, cut to me, Fantamai.
நான் எனக்கென இல்லாமல் நாம் எம்மால் எமக்கு ஏனும் தொற்று நோய்கள் பற்றி சிந்திப்போம். நாம் ஒருமித்த பலத்துடன் ஒன்றாய் இணைவோம். டெங்கு அதனை பறந்தே வந்திட இடம் கொடுக்காமல் இருந்திடுவோம். சரியான முறையில் நாளாந்தம் நாம் அனைவரும்.
It's exactly what we discussed so far would be start with the data. The government has to help them, and also the banks has to be more open for the entrepreneurs who wants to be become an entrepreneur. Start young, and also make sure that you think ahead in the future about the future's requirement and supply for the demand. That's what you have to do.
Yes,
Okay.
Absolutely.
Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening and welcome to the National News broadcast, bringing to you live from the National News Studios here at Rupavahini. I'm Charita Binupurarachi.
And I'm Kasini Balachandra. Here are your top stories for tonight.
The all-party conference started under the patronage of the President. Stern legal action will be taken against the traders who do not display price of eggs. 12 persons, including chairman of the Manning Market Traders Association, have been arrested under the charge of violating court orders. Grapes cultivation in an unusual area. Wildfires in Italy and Greece claimed 40 lives.
On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with the top local story. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that his aim is to take a decision on the 13th Amendment following a discussion with all parties.
If the provincial council system be continued, all problems experienced so far should be solved. Addressing the all-party conference that kicked off at the President's office today, the President said that he only can make proposals, but the Parliament is the body that has the power to prepare new laws to solve these problems. The President further said that having discussion with parliamentarians of the Tamil parties only is not sufficient. As it is a matter pertaining to the entire country, a decision must be taken following a discussion with all relevant parties. This all-party conference has been convened to inform the party leaders regarding the National Reconciliation Programme and the North and East Development Plan. The President stressed that all political parties that represent the Parliament should be committed to solve this problem. 7 out of the 9 provincial councils are majority Sinhala areas. Therefore, it is very important to rectify the lapses and shortcomings experienced so far. The grassroots level powers of agriculture, tourism and many other sectors should be vested with the provincial councils. The duty of the central government is to implement policy plans and to provide required facilities to provincial councils. According to the 13th Amendment, police powers should be vested with the provincial councils only following a thorough discussion with all relevant stakeholders.
The Consumer Affairs Authority says that legal action will be taken against the traders who do not display price of eggs. The authority has received many complaints over the sale of eggs at higher prices. Imported eggs are available at Satosa outlets 35 rupees each and supermarkets sell packeted eggs at 40 rupees each. Chairman of the Consumer Affairs Authority Shanta Nirayala informs the public that to consume imported eggs without fear as the stocks have been brought to the country under hygienic manner. Chairman of the Consumer Affairs Authority Shanta Nirayala said that a stock of about 1 million eggs is delivered among the consumers daily. The government hopes to maintain the situation until the local egg production is increased to suit the local demand. Chairman of the Satosa Pasandayapa Bandara says that eggs imported from India are only available at Satosa outlets in Colombo, Gampaha and Kalutara districts. Chairman of the Satosa Pasandayapa Bevadana said that the first stage eggs are available 35 rupees at the outlets in Colombo, Gampaha and Kalutara districts. With the success of the system, eggs will be provided to other districts at the same price. Meanwhile, consumers have gathered at Satosa outlets to purchase eggs for lower prices today as well. Views were expressed over the matter at several press briefings held in Colombo today. President of the All Island Canteen and Hotel Owners Association, Harshan Rokshan, said that as they have checked the quality of imported eggs, people should not have any fear to consume eggs. Price of meals in hotels will also be reduced accordingly.
Additional Health Secretary Saman Ratnayake says that the Health Ministry has taken measures for necessary procurement to ease the shortage of medicine within a period of 2 months. At a press briefing held today, he said that about 160 brands of medicine are to be imported under emergency procurement. Additional Health Secretary Saman Ratnayake said that a certain time period, at least 6 months, are needed to import medicine under the normal system. Therefore, the ministry has decided to follow the emergency procurement system. The ministry hopes to ease this shortage within a period of 2 months. He added that measures have also been taken to import medicine required for cancer patients. Additional Health Secretary Saman Ratnayake said that 65 varieties of medicine for cancer patients have been ordered. The prevailing economic condition only permits to import recommended varieties of medicine. He also elaborated on the major reasons caused for the shortage of drugs. Additional Health Secretary Saman Ratnayake said that the crisis in foreign exchange is the major reason for this problem. Attention has also been focused to purchase local medicine more. Additional Health Secretary Saman Ratnayake said that accordingly, local manufacturers have provided nearly 350 varieties of medicine. Another 100 local brands are scheduled to be purchased by the end of this year. He also stated about the inferior quality of drugs and medicine. Additional Health Secretary said that in each year, about 80 to 100 cases of quality failures are reported. It is the same in other countries as well. Traders of the Manning market in Paliyagoda stayed away from the business activities today in protest of a problem in distribution of trade stalls in the market.
The Urban Development Authority says all traders who carry out business at the Manning market have been provided with trade stalls at the very first stage of the project. However, the traders staged their protest over handing over the trade stalls to outsiders. The court had issued an enjoining order banning the protest campaign. Accordingly, police arrested 12 traders, including the chairman of the Traders Association of the Manning Market, under the charge of violating the court order. The Urban Development Authority has organized a media briefing to clarify over this matter. Deputy Director General of Property and Land Development of the Urban Development Authority EAC Priyashant said that according to a survey conducted prior to the implementation of the Manin Market project, there were 1,259 traders. The authority has given trade stalls to 1,288 traders. There are 315 trade stalls more. However, a large number of applications have been received. Therefore, a committee has been appointed to select qualified persons. If any applicant has met with any injustice, they can appeal. The authority will consider the appeals and provide trade stalls to all qualified persons.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs unreservedly rejects the reference to a Tamil Genocide Remembrance Day in the statement issued on the 23rd of July by the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Foreign Ministry statement further mentions that Canada's continued reference to a false, distorted narrative of the past conflict in Sri Lanka is aimed solely at achieving local voter bank electoral gains and is not conducive to broader goals of communal harmony. Sri Lanka urges Canada and its leaders to support Sri Lanka in its efforts to ensure stability, progress, peace and reconciliation among all communities in all parts of Sri Lanka as well as among communities of Sri Lankan heritage overseas.
And meanwhile, the wounded tusker nicknamed as Tek Mahaetha that used to roam in Ingeniamitia and Kalgamu areas has died. The wildlife official says that carcass of the tusker has been found.
Awarding ceremony for 1,544 Daham Sarasavya Buddha Dharma Diploma and Higher Diploma holders was held today at the Temple Trees under the patronage of Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that the young generation should be well aware of the history and the cultural values of the country. As laymen, we must strengthen the Dhamma education system. In this endeavour, Dhamma school teachers can achieve a great service to the nation and the future generations. This course has been jointly organised by the Sri Lanka Buddhist and Pali University and the Department of Buddhist Affairs. Professor of Buddhist and Pali University Venerable Niluwe Somavanchathera, Mahasangha Minister Vidura Vikramanayaka, Secretary to the Ministry of Buddhist Affairs Somaratna Vidanapathirana, Commissioner of Buddhist Affairs Kirti Siribhadana and many others were present at this ceremony.
The police dispersed a protest conducted by the Inter-University Students' Federation using high-pressure water cannons. The protest was held at the Lipton Roundabout in Colombo. The protesters demanded immediate release of 2 members of the Federation who have been taken into remand custody. A group of university students, including student monks, gathered at the area and started to march towards the Ministry of Higher Education. The police dispersed the crowd at this moment. Police anti-riot squad, police special task force and army soldiers have also been deployed to control the protesters. Our correspondent said that later the protesters left the area through a by road.
Several political parties held their electoral organising meetings during the past few days. Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna held their Dumpe electoral Balamandala meeting recently. It was organised by parliamentarian Milan Jayatilaka.
මේක සමාජිකයන්ගේ පක්ෂය. මේ පක්ෂය වටන්න කාටවත් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන විදිහට ඉටු කරගන්න බැරි බවයි අය දන්නවා. ඒ නිසා තමයි පෞගිය මැයි 9 වෙනිදා 2022 අරගලයේ මුවාවේ අපේ පොහොට්ටුවේ මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ගේ පළාත් පාලන.
The National People's Power held its Palmadula electoral conference yesterday under the patronage of leader of the party, parliamentarian Anurakumara Dissanayaka.
තමන් වෙනුවෙන් තමන්ගේ ප්‍රාදේශ සභාව පාලනය කරන
The United National Party held its Harispattu electoral Balamandala meeting in Katugastota recently. Deputy leader of the UNP, Ruwan Wijewardena, graced this occasion as the chief guest.
තමුන්නාසේ දන්නවා අපේ නායක රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමා එතුමා මේ රටේ නායකයා හැටියට
The International Mangrove Conservation Day falls today.
It is marked this year under the title Let's Direct the Future Generation to Conserve the Mangrove Systems to Ensure Existence of Human Beings. A national program was held at the Environmental Ministry Auditorium in this connection. Mangrove forests are in abundance at the coastal areas in Gol, Hikaduwa, Kandamodara, Digambo and Putlam, and in Muthrajawala, Maduganga and Madivela areas as well. Mangrove forests add natural beauty to the environment. A mangrove system is also a very complex environmental system that render an immense service to maintain the balance of environment. Mangrove forest can also be categorized as decarbonizing areas in the tropical zones. There are 21 species of mangroves in Sri Lanka. It is significant that 1/3 of global mangrove species are available in Sri Lanka. Out of them, 10 species of mangroves are vulnerable to extinction. It is globally accepted that mangrove environmental system should be conservative with the first priority. The national ceremony to mark the International Day of Conserving Mangrove Systems were held at the Environmental Ministry Auditorium today. A practical workshop was also held to make the students aware of the importance of mangroves. The students had practical experience in identifying mangrove species, causes of vulnerability and the measures of conservation.
State Minister of Foreign Affairs Taraka Balasuriya says that the best foreign policy of independent Sri Lanka is being implemented in the present era. The State Minister further noted that Sri Lanka would gain greatly in the future as a result of President Ranil Wickremesinghe's non-aligned foreign policy and his strong cooperation with all countries. He expressed these views today during a press conference themed Collective Path to a Stable Country held at the Presidential Media Centre.
There's three main areas that we look at, each ministry looks at, and we have given targets, and we are working very closely with the economic affairs people in the regions. The three main areas are the investments, tourism, and see if we can find employment for the Sri Lankans overseas. But what I can say is that in any tourism plan, that what we see is that you tend to have tourism develop in a regional format. If you look at France, for example, I think had somewhere around 87 million tourists. But where do the tourists come from? Majority of the tourists come from Europe. So mainly tourists tend to travel within the regions. So I think any tourist in tourist plan need to take that into consideration and pay more close attention to the countries in the region, including countries like India, Bangladesh, and so we should be able to get lots and lots of tourists from India. And I think things such as like developing the ferry service and developing the connectivity, it's absolutely important in developing tourism.
And although there is no suitable environment in Badulla area for the cultivation of grapes, a farmer in Uvaparanagama has started cultivation of grapes successfully.
And here's a look at that story.
Farmer J.M.W. Bandara has started grapes cultivation 7 years ago without any prior training. He had prepared the planting materials himself. The saplings of grapes have been planted in pots as an organic crop. Bandara says that harvest is done every 6 months and 7 to 10 kilos of grapes can be gathered per creeper.
The Department of Census and Statistics says that preliminary measures to conduct the 15th Census of Population and Housing in 2024 is now underway. Director General of the department, PMP Anurakumara, says that listing all buildings and census units is to be conducted by September this year. The President has ordered to conduct this census through the special gazettes issued on the 11th of this month. As the first stage of the census, entire country has been divided into small areas called census blocks. Accordingly, about 88,000 census blocks have been identified and mapped. In the second stage, listing buildings and housing units will be started in September. In the third stage, data of all persons and housing units will be collected early next year.
Population and housing is actually a collection of number of activities which has to be systematically completed to have a complete census. We say that planning, data collection, processing, evaluation, analyzing and data dissemination. Once all these activities are collected, then we identify that as a population census. When we conduct a census, we consider all the people living in a country and their housing units. At a specified unit, we collect information considering all these criteria. Here, when we collect the data, we collect demographic, economic and social conditions of the individuals and information of all the housing units of the country. The census is actually created to provide very important indicators and the information needed for policy planning for the academia, data users and also for the general government. Especially the data will be provided considering the size, composition, growth, geographical information and also the standards of living. Finally, once we complete the population census, we are able to provide the total population of the country and also age, ethnicity and all these information we will be able to provide.
And now a few more local news items in brief. Sasmit Dissanayake of Sri Lanka has become the Miss Earth 2023 at the International Beauty Pageant held in Manila in Philippines recently. She has also become the Best Miss Earth Catwalk, Best Overall Miss Earth Overall Best in Resort Wear and Best Miss Earth in Talent Awards. Many beauty contestants from Philippines, Japan, USA, Thailand and the several other countries participated at the beauty contest. Sasmit Dissanayake arrived in the island today with the crown. Family members and a group of well-wishers were present at the airport to welcome her. Senior Professor Padmalal M. Banage has been appointed as the new Vice-Chancellor of the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. The appointment was made by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Earlier, Professor Banage was the Dean of the Faculty of Postgraduate Studies. Former President Maithripala Sirisena has been appointed as the new chairman of the International Peace Conference. After receiving the new title, he arrived in the island from Malaysia last night. Twenty estate housing units of the Ratwat estates in Talawakele have been destroyed by a fire due to a power leakage. Our correspondent says that 56 residents have been displaced due to the fire. 6 new vehicles made by the Sri Lanka Army for the duties of the UN peacekeeping force were handed over to the IGP C.D. Vikramaratne by the Army Commander Lieutenant General Vikumliyanage at the Army headquarters yesterday. Six new vehicles made by the Sri Lanka Army for the duties of the UN peacekeeping force were handed over to the IGP C.D. Vikramaratne by the Army Commander Lieutenant General Vikumliyanage at the Army headquarters yesterday. Stay tuned with international news after this break. Welcome back with international news. And in Greece, the Civil Protection Ministry warned of an extreme danger of fire in 6 of the country's 13 regions. A team of climate scientists at the World Weather Attribution Group said that this month's intense heat wave in southern Europe, North America and China would have been virtually impossible without human-induced climatic changes. 2 pilots died on the island of Aviv just north of Athens, where the Canadian firefighter plane crashed into a ravine. Elsewhere in the island, a many-charred body was found in a remote rural shack. On the island of Rhodes, more than 20,000 people have been evacuated from homes and resorts in the south in recent days. Tourism accounts for 1 in 5 jobs in Greece, and the industry is vital for roads and many other inlands.
Italy has also been hit by contrasting extreme weather events, with deadly storms in the north and wildfires in Sicily, as well as several more southern regions. A couple in their 70s were found dead in a fire-gutted holiday home near Palmero after the fire came close to the boundary of the city's airport. An 88-year-old woman has also died near the city. Parts of the city of Catania went without water and power after cables burned in temperature that climbed to 47.6 degrees Celsius on Monday.
Prima Kotami Fantamai.
Welcome back with your sports update. In Pakistan were 566 runs for 5 wickets at the stumps of the 3rd day of the 2nd and the final test against Sri Lanka, which was played at SSC grounds in Colombo.
Sri Lanka only scored 166 runs in the first innings. In reply, Pakistan batsmen posed a huge challenge against the Sri Lankan bowlers. Abdullah Shafiq scored 201 runs with his first double century. Agha Salman is not out at 132 runs at the stumps of the 3rd day today. Malaysian bowler Saisrul have set T20 world record for best bowling figures. He has also claimed 7 wickets for 8 runs only in 4 overs in a match against China. The ICC has imposed a match ban against Indian women's cricket captain Harmanpreet Kaur under the charge of unruly behaviour. At the final one-day match against Bangladesh, she has expressed a protest against the umpire for ruling her out by hitting the wickets by the bat. It is an offence under the Cricket Disciplinary Code, and accordingly she has been imposed a fine of 50% of her match fee and 3 negative points. Harmanpreet has also criticised the umpire at the awarding ceremony, and she will be banned from the first 2 matches of Indian women's cricket team at the Asian Games.
Prima Kotami Fantamai.
And with that, we conclude tonight's news. Just tomorrow at the very same time. I'm Charita, signing off with Kasumi. Stay safe. Good night.
Good night.